Good news, I got another bass. Right over there. Let's check it out. Set that down. All right, so I skipped past all the boring parts. I got it out now. Let's see what it's talking about. So here's the part of my videos y'all don't see. All right, so over here, this is what I use. This is why you can hear the traffic so well in my new studio. This Mojave audio mic that I use actually was a gift. And I'm shooting with a Nikon D800. Ignore the ball in the corner. Yeah, I do exercise. That's not feminine at all. Yeah, it's my wife's ball, you got me. So this is my lighting that I use. Standby. Yep. Got real bright, didn't it? Just put a little sound of heaven there. And so normally I am sitting right here. So one thing right off the bat, I'll say, you gotta know where you at when you playing this bass. So I will say this, I will put this disclaimer out there. I am not a fretless bass player. This is actually like my first time really being able to sit with a fretless bass, like seriously sit with one. I have played a few in music stores and that kind of thing, but never really like had opportunity to really put my hands on it. So I will say this is a great learning opportunity for me. And that's why I agreed to like check out this bass. This is obviously the same company that I did the $85 bass review. The same thing, you have a Glarry bass, very lightweight bass, like 75, 85 bucks, depending on where you are, depending on where you find it at. But I think it's around like $85 on the website. And the bass is like, it's pretty much, you know, straight to the point. Now, the one thing I did notice when I got the bass out of the box and just plugged it up and initially started to play it, it's pretty much fretless. I mean, like there's nothing here. The only thing you have as a guide is the dots at the top of the fretboard. I don't know if you can see that from this distance, but that's literally the only guide that you have. And for some real fretless players, that might be all they need. But for me, I would prefer personally to have some lines here, being a beginner fretless player. So we're on the same level. If you're a beginner player, we're right there on the same level. I have no clue. I mean, I have a good sense of where everything is, but I noticed that getting the right intonation on the fretless is a little bit more complicated than a standard bass. So me playing music with the track with this bass, I noticed that I had to kind of adjust on the fly just to make sure I'm hitting all the right notes. Like if I'm playing. Now, by itself, it doesn't sound that bad, but in the context of music, you can see how the note can kind of slightly vary. You got to really be careful that you're really kind of nailing those notes. And I haven't got that completely down packed, but I wanted to give you guys a raw, real video, nothing polished, nothing super scripted, but you know the real about this bass. If you're interested in learning fretless bass, this might be a great opportunity for you to do it at a very low cost. Now, I will say that plus about it, because you don't want to go out and spend, you know, $500-600 or more on a fretless bass and you're not even sure you really want to play it. To me, this kind of lets you kind of dip your feet in the water a little bit without, you know, getting froze to death pretty much, without just diving straight in. If you just want to test the waters a little bit, this is a great test the waters type of bass. Now, one of the things I did notice that I had to do, for me personally, I had to lower the string height a little bit when I got the bass, because the strings were just too high for my liking. Now, when I got the P bass before, that string height for the P bass was fine, but for this particular bass, the string height was just a little bit too much for me. But you know, all in all, at the end of the day, it's $75-85 bass, so I really can't do too much complaining. And for me, guys, here's the real. When you're paying for a musical instrument that's under $100, it's one of those situations you kind of get what you pay for. To me, it's one of the pawn shop pick of the week type deal. You don't know what you're going to get when you go to a pawn shop, but if you go in there and pay $100-150 for a bass from the pawn shop, you kind of know you're getting what you pay for. So you can't really expect it to be a Warrior or a Fender or anything like that that might have a higher name or something like that. But for what you're getting for this amount of money with this particular instrument, I really have no complaints that much for the amount of money that you would have to pay for something like this just to get started. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's an entry-level type bass. If you're trying to enter into learning how to play the fretless bass, this would be a great option just to get started, to figure out if you really want to do it. Now, if you're an experienced fretless player, this might work. I can't really say, that's not my area of expertise. But for me, I'm gonna work with this a little bit more and see if I can kind of figure out and navigate my way around fretless bass and see if I can understand it a little bit more, open my understanding and that type of thing. And I know it's gonna take a while. My thing I hate about new gear is the learning curve. That's pretty much with anything, whether it's a software, me learning something new, a new trade, anything. I hate the learning curve. So that's the only thing that's really throwing me off, is the learning curve, being trying to get used to playing with no frets and just looking at a bare fretboard. At least the lines probably for me would have helped the situation in terms of the learning curve. For me, it would have helped me in terms of understanding. So if you're a beginner player and you're not playing with any lines, it has the potential to be a little bit more difficult if you're trying to jump out there and say, hey, I think I want to try fretless as opposed to fretted basses, to see if I like the feel of that a little bit better. Now, the other thing that I noticed that came with this bass, these strings don't seem to be flat wound. They do kind of grab your hands when you're going up and down the fretboard. And with a fretless, I'd rather not hear that, because you're gonna do a lot of sliding. And I'd rather not hear that string buzz. Now, if they are some type of flat wounds that I'm not accustomed to, and you know, they just have a little bit more grip to them, I apologize for that. But for me, I'm hearing too much string noise. But that's a simple music store visit to get some really, you know, nice flat wounds to go on here, so you don't hear all of that extra buzz and all that kind of stuff. So that's not a deal breaker for me. Just overall, the sound is clear. And if I just had to use this for like a recording or something like that, given the fact that I would raise my skill level on this bass, I could definitely get away with using this for a recording, because the sound is clear on it. See, that's that. There we go. So I'm still working it out, still working through the kinks of it. But yeah, overall, if I had to give you my thoughts about the bass, which I am, I think, you know what I'm saying, if you're curious about a fretless bass, you're not 100% sure you want to go all the way fretless, this is a good bass to just try out, to get yourself having an idea. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Y'all know I play my signature Warrior Isabella bass that you see me with pretty much all the time, as well as the custom Serene that I'm playing as well. But who turns down a free bass? Now, when the company contacted me and asked me about doing another bass review, now I'll be honest, I'm not necessarily the Fender style type bass player. That's not really my vibe. But who's gonna turn down a free bass? So I wanted to use it as an opportunity for myself to start learning fretless. It's one of those things I've been putting off for years. I started to buy one like 6 years ago, and I forgot all about it and got busy and all this kind of stuff. So this gave me a great opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, give you guys a video reviewing this bass, kind of let you know about it, and also me learning fretless at the same time. So yeah, if it were up to me, I would say, yeah, take a chance. If you had the extra money laying around and you want to learn a little bit more about the fretless bass, here's a good way to get into it without breaking the bank to do so. So yeah, these are my thoughts about the bass. Be sure to leave your comment below. Let me know what you think. And if you're thinking about getting one, let me know in the comment section as well. I'll put the links below where you can go and grab everything if you're interested in buying it from the website or off Amazon. I'll put those links right below so you can do that. And I appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you need any more helpful bass tips, be sure to let me know in the comments some things you might be struggling with, some things you may want to know, some things you might want me to cover. And also be sure to check out my other content. I have tons of videos here for you to help you grow and to ultimately unlock your sound. Oh yeah, be sure to check out JermaineMorgan.net. And if you haven't visited the website before, as soon as you get there, you'll probably be prompted to sign up for my mailing list, and you'll receive 3 new licks to add to your playing. So be sure to do that, and I will see you guys over there. Take care. I'm out. Peace.